All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Living the Dream podcast. Today on the show, we have Jung, who is a former Goldman Sachs investment banker who started his own corporate finance consulting firm. Jay, how you doing?
Great. Tim, it's great to be on the show.
Yeah, no, great to have you. And we're excited to hear about your dreams, your goals, and how we can help. So we like to jump right in. If you could start with telling us a little bit about yourself and what you like to do for fun outside of making people rich. Jump in.
Sure thing. I'm currently living in California. I was born in Korea. I spent half my life in the US, half in Korea. I've been going back and forth. Most recently, I came here for business school. I went to Wharton, and then I moved to New York, where I was at Goldman. And then when my wife got a job out here in California, we moved out to the West Coast. And then I started my own firm, Embarc Advisors, about 3 years ago.
Awesome. Tell us.
Sorry, to follow up, what do I like to do for fun? Primarily traveling. I just got back from a 2-week trip in Europe. Fully vaccinated. I also got my COVID negative test coming back, so I'm okay. I love good food, good wine, cocktails. So usually our trips are a little bit of a culinary trip, and I like working out.
There we go. Well, awesome. Tell us a bit more about your motivation. What gets you up and keeps you going every day?
Yeah, I think really I just love what I'm doing. Obviously, that's why I'm here. For me, I think just kind of helping people, giving them good advice. I think even when I was younger, I kind of enjoy that kind of advisory role. My whole life has been around kind of advisory roles and helping my friends out, helping family out, and now I get to help my clients out. So, I just think kind of seeing other people be successful and becoming successful along the way together is really what motivates me. And one of my employees asked me, like, you seem like you're always on, like, how do you have so much energy? And, I didn't have a good answer. I just said, I love what I'm doing. I love every day. So maybe that's why I have so much energy.
Yeah, for sure. No, I love that. And so in your corporate finance consulting firm, are you consulting like corporate businesses? Are you doing individuals? Or tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah. So I work mostly with companies, large and small. When I first started, I wanted to work more with entrepreneurs and smaller businesses, but now we work with everyone from small businesses to public companies, and we'll help them raise capital. Once they have a lot of capital, we'll help them grow the company as an external financial advisor. As the company gets bigger, sometimes they will raise another round of capital, they'll sell their business, they'll buy other businesses. And so we do all of that. Try to bring that kind of financial expertise to companies that, frankly, don't have access to all of that talent.
And do you guys only pitch in on the finance side? Or are you also kind of like a business advisor when you're like helping them kind of craft their business and model their finances?
Yeah, that's a great question. I tell my team, finance is how we get our foot in the door. But oftentimes, I think people kind of see our skill set and end up engaging us on a broader set of, strategy, business plan work, sometimes a little bit on the strategic marketing side as well. So we're a bit of a generalist / jack of all trades, but I'd say finance is where our spike is.
Gotcha. That makes sense. A lot of times you got to niche down to get into the door. And
totally.
Tell us a bit more about how you go about getting your clients. Are you cold calling? Are you just doing online marketing? Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, well, when I first started 3 years ago, I spent probably half my day pitching and business development, everything from online marketing. I tried Facebook ads at one point. There are a bunch of freelance platforms where you can pitch for projects. But now it's been 3 years and we've worked with dozens of clients. And frankly, right now it's all inbound and referral based. I think it's a testament to the quality of service that we've provided to our clients. A lot of our clients come back actually just this past week, 2 clients that I've worked with before, where I helped them kind of sell and exit their businesses. They rang me up and said they're starting a new business, and this time they want they want us involved from day one. Because I think they saw the value that we brought later in the game.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. I love that. And so, was there ever a point in your journey where you were like, okay, I'm starting this business. I know I'm going to go into like the advisory role and helping people, but I'm not sure if I can get them the results that I need to promise in order to get in the door?
Every day. So when I first started, I worked at Goldman. Before that, I worked at McKinsey as a consultant. So I feel like I always had that big firm behind me. I might be the representative working with a client at any of those firms, but I had a monster organization behind me that I could tap into for resources, knowledge, experience, and everything. And so going out on my own, on myself, I wasn't sure if I could bring all of that to my clients. But as I started going about the work, I realized that, even if I don't have that full organization behind me, I still bring a lot of experience, 20 years of corporate finance and deal experience. So I think I still bring a lot. And over the years, I've gained confidence that, the advice that I give is high quality, it's appreciated, and, it's certainly better than nothing. So it gives me confidence.
Absolutely. So it was like a jump in despite your kind of low confidence levels. And as you got the experience, your confidence start to grow.
Yeah, I like to think it's more humility than low confidence. I have confidence that I can do well, but there's always that nagging feeling, well, I really need to deliver. And can I do it as well without that brand and corporate backing? And I think I'm getting there.
Gotcha. I feel that. Well, awesome, man. Tell us about your dreams, goals, and vision for your life and your business.
So, my dreams is really to be able to keep doing this and growing this until I get, really, really old. I see, you see people like, Softbank's Masayoshi Son, you see Carl Icahn, Henry Kravis, who recently stepped down. I look at them, I feel like they were able to they were able to build something, and they were able to do what they love for such a long time. And, obviously they're still doing it. And I think that's an incredible blessing. If you can find what you love and be successful at it and continue to do it until you're 60 plus, you don't have to retire. That's really what I want. I know a lot of people say like, oh, I want to retire, be wealthy, but I don't want to retire. I want to be able to keep doing what I love. That's kind of my goal for now. I want to keep growing this. And for me, as I keep growing this, it means that I'm able to touch the lives of so many more entrepreneurs and founders and CEOs and help them along the way. And I hired my first employee a year ago, and now we have 7. And it also, as I grow this, it means that I'm going to be able to continue to create a wonderful working environment and growth development opportunities to all those people. So my dream is to kind of keep doing this and maintaining this trajectory for Embarc Advisors.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And are there any bucket list items that you want to discuss, or is that like those kind of happen and your big thing is growing the consulting firm, impacting as many lives as possible?
Yeah, I don't really have a bucket list, but I live day to day, year to year, and so, for example, recently through a client, I had the fortune of going to Shaquille O'Neal's the Shaquille O'Neal Foundation's charity event, and he was all about supporting the Boys and Girls Club. And I practically grew up at a Boys and Girls Club when I was a kid. And I saw that and inspired me to be more charitable and support organization like the Shaq Foundation, and B, going further down the road, hopefully I'll be able to have a bigger impact aside from just giving. So I think that's something that I wouldn't say it's a bucket list, but has become like a new goal just this year. And I'm sure as time goes by, I'll continue to be inspired by great people around me, and I'll keep adding new goals.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Do you have any idea what that bigger impact is going to be as you kind of approach that as the years go by?
Yeah, I think it's really, I think impact is touching more people. So like I said, the bigger impact can come from helping more entrepreneurs, creating more jobs, great work environments, and also I think kind of going beyond the Embarc boundaries and giving more to charitable organizations. So like my wife and I, we've always been very passionate about supporting children in education, and we're sponsoring several children through World Vision, and we can keep adding more children there, and maybe there's like a bigger platform where we can have a larger impact over time. So those are some ideas.
I love that. I love that. Well, awesome. If there are one or two people you can meet right now, and this could be a specific person or a type of person, and they would help you take the next step towards continuing to grow your corporate finance consulting firm and impacting as many lives as possible, who would they be and how would they do it?
Oh, that's a good question. So I think in terms of growing my business, I think there's two types of people that I'd love to get in touch with. And then I certainly have some in my network. One is, really experienced VCs, because a lot of the work I do is helping clients raise capital. And I've held a lot of different roles in my life, but I've never been a VC per se. So I think being able to get in touch with someone like that and maybe potentially introducing my clients to them, I think would be great. And they can get a different type of perspective that I don't bring directly. The second is, as we kind of go through our journey helping clients, I think every situation is different, and getting in touch with, say, like experienced CFOs who have gone through the ups and downs in different situations. You can never have enough of those, and there's always good advice to get from those people. So while I certainly have a bunch of those in my network, would always welcome to meet more of those.
Yeah, absolutely. There we go. And what's the most important one or two things that everyday people can do to help you accomplish your dreams and goals of impacting more people?
Right now, the thing I ask for the most among the people that I get in contact with is, if you know anyone that's really good at finance, interested in finance, and wants to jump on a startup that does corporate finance advisory, please introduce, because we are always hiring. And I'd say hiring is the one thing that limits our growth and our ability to take on more projects and help more people. Because I want to help more people, but I also don't want to overwork my team. So it's a tricky balance. And if I overwork them, I'm failing on my second goal, which is to create a great working environment. So hiring and recruiting is kind of like top of mind for us right now. And then the other thing is really, more introductions. A lot of times we just talk to people and give them free advice. They don't have to hire us. Sometimes I tell them to not hire us because we're not the right fit, but still always happy to share advice. And really what we're looking for is, we want more people to be successful in doing and pursuing their dreams.
Yeah, I love that. There we go. And this potential employee, can they be remote or do they need to be in Cali?
They can be remote. So we were always remote even before COVID. All my clients are remote, or I work with them remotely. I'll occasionally have on-site visits, but mostly it's remote. And so even before COVID, we were like that. And when COVID hit, it was kind of funny because, nothing changed for us.
Yeah.
I guess phone calls started becoming Zoom calls, but very, very little things changed for us. And I think if anything, more clients opened up and realized that it's fine to have a remote advisor. A lot of people are now interested in these remote roles. So we've hired people from Massachusetts and Illinois, New York, and certainly a bunch in California.
Gotcha. Well, that's awesome. I just graduated college, so I think I know some econ majors, and maybe I will kind of
Spread the word.
shop that idea around. Awesome.
Awesome.
So now we're going to jump into our thriving three. And the first question is, what's your favorite book, movie, or podcast? Pick one.
My favorite book, I would say, is Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. And, I'm a business and econ major, all about the rational human being. My wife studied behavioral psychology, and then she went into consumer behavior for her marketing PhD. And so she kind of opened up my mind to this whole different world where people are not rational. There's tons of biases, and people act differently. And when I read that book, it was so eye-opening, and just made me realize a lot of things that I was missing out on. And it gave me a new perspective on how I look at people, how I interact with them, how I think about organizations. So for me, it was one of the most pivotal books, and I highly recommend it to anyone.
Love it. What's one way you like to take care of yourself?
Working out. So I work out every morning. Even when we were traveling, we would, my wife and I work out every morning. And so usually we look for hotels that have gyms. I think that's a great way to stay healthy, but also, kind of like make sure your whole day is full of energy.
Yeah, I love that. And what is one action step you can take right now to meet more venture capitalists, more experienced CFOs, so you can maximize value add, as well as recruit more people?
Yeah, I think that's probably the hardest thing, because what I realize is in all the things I want to do, time is the biggest constraint. My whole day, from waking up at 6:30 a.m. until I go to bed at 11 is kind of like jam-packed. I want to network more, go out and meet more people, maybe be a little bit more active online, but I just don't have that time. So I think the one thing I should be doing is prioritizing better around my time, and also maybe setting more tangible goals around achieving exactly those specific milestones.
I feel that. Have you ever read the book Who Not How?
Who Not How? I have not.
That is a fantastic book.
Write that down.
And I think it might help you out a little bit. I also want to, I'll just leave it there. Just read the book, man. Get back to me on if it sparks any ideas for you.
I will. I appreciate the recommendation.
Yeah, of course. Okay, I just have a couple more questions for you. Tell us about the importance of consistency in your journey as a startup founder. And for all those people out there who are really struggling with consistency, give us some tips on how we can be consistent in our lives.
Yeah, I think you put it well. So I think consistency is key. And, doing a startup, whether it's a tech startup or a services business like mine, a startup is always a slog. It's a grind, and you just have to take it day by day, year by year. And that's kind of why I don't have like a grand bucket list or some huge endeavor at the end of this. I really want to do this every day and every year, and slowly just tick the boxes and grow. And one thing I do is I make a list. It's just a handwritten note. Every day as I go through my day, as things come up, I'll create a list, and I'll put a little star behind the high priority ones and make sure I start checking that list off. Turn the page, keep making that list. Because I think, especially when you're starting your own business, there's a lot of things to do, from menial admin tasks to big sales-oriented goals. And if you don't kind of keep track and see that you're making progress, sometimes you kind of get lost and you can get burned out. But even those small checklists is a testament to the progress that you're making, and also make sure you stay on track.
I love that. Sounds good. Our last question is, it's going to require a bit of pretext. So you know how there are people on the planet who they have a really fixed mindset, not willing to accept help, not willing to accept change. Sometimes they live their whole lives like that and they die like that. Other times they'll change and then they'll have a growth mindset, willing to accept change, willing to accept help. In your opinion, what is the catalyst that causes that change?
Yeah, I think there are two catalysts. One is when there's some big external shock, whether it's, a loss of life, whether it's a close friend or family, or maybe you get, kicked out of the role that you had. But I think there's some kind of external shock that moves you out from that, fixed mindset that you were in and lets you reevaluate, what you're doing and the course you were headed on. I think that's a catalyst. I think the other catalyst that I've seen is where, the small things start piling up, and then you kind of get to a breaking point. Again, whether it's your personal, it could be personal health, family, whatever. And there's a small thing that kind of tips you over, and you say, you know what, it's not worth it. I can't do this anymore. And that lets you kind of reevaluate and get into a more of a change mindset. And I think what people realize is once they change their mindset and take that next step, a lot of those things that looked scary and looked like a lot of risk, if they veered off course, aren't that big of a deal. And you're not going to lose much. Even the worst case, you don't lose much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that. Why do you think that some people have those small things pile up and just never take that step, or they have that shock and then fall right back into routine?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, and I think I was definitely like that too. You're kind of taught and trained that perseverance is a good value. There's like a set mindset that society gives you as a norm to follow. And I think the good student in us tells us to follow that route. And you gotta suck it up. No pain, no gain, right? There are all these things that kind of that make it feel like that's the right thing to do. So I think that kind of mentality allows the bad things to pile up. And it's unfortunate because I think a lot of us waste a lot of time and years dealing with a suboptimal situation because we were kind of trained that way. And then I think, the catalyst comes, and some people think it's a strength to go back to that norm and show that consistency, because we talked about that too, right? Being persistent and consistent is a virtue in many ways. So even when they get the shock, some people go back to where it was, and they view that as winning. It's a different value system, I feel like.
Yeah. And how do you discern between the things you need to go back to and the things you need to change?
Well, I think I don't think there's a right or wrong answer there, because I think it's really driven by the value system of that individual person. And value systems can change. I think, to be honest, when someone goes to a very good school and works at a very brand name company, your value is heavily focused on what society thinks of you, how others perceive you, the brand and the cachet of working at that kind of institution. And then I think when you decide to leave and become an entrepreneur, you're kind of leaving all that behind and pursuing a different value. And I think I think that's a subjective thing. I don't think everyone should be an entrepreneur. And some people prefer the former. So it's.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely up to you. And one of the first things you said was an external shock that lets you reevaluate. I feel like in that reevaluation, you get that self-awareness. And as you get to know yourself more, you know where you need to be, you know what brings you joy, you know what is wasting your life and what is not wasting your life for you. And then you can pick those things.
Totally. I think you said it better.
Awesome. Well, Jay, is there anything else you want to chat about before we sign off?
No, I think this is a great conversation. I enjoyed talking to you. I think a lot of the questions were thoughtful, and maybe a few years down the road, once I've gained a little bit more wisdom, we can have another chat.
Yeah, dude. You can come back on whenever you want. I'd love to talk to you about your dreams and goals and follow up with you. And the people on the podcast will be able to hear you again and be like, how's this business going? How can I help them more? Et cetera.
Yeah. What has changed?
Exactly. Well, awesome, Jay. Thanks for coming on the show. If you guys are listening to this and you were resonating with what Jay had to say and you want to help him with his dreams and goals of helping businesses, helping more people succeed, make sure to connect him to other VCs, venture capitalists, or experienced CFOs, but B, help him hire some people. So if you have any recommendations, send them his way. The ways to contact him will be in the show notes. Jay, just say it for us right now. What's the best way to contact you?
Yeah, email is probably best. It's Jung, Jung, at embarcadvisors.com. That's Embarc with a C.
There we go. And that will be in the show notes for you guys. As we always ask, send this podcast to 1 to 3 people you know need to hear this message, potentially those venture capitalists or future hires. Shoot us a 5-star review on iTunes, and we're out.